It was Miles Guo. And Miles Guo didn't have to do this. He was a billionaire many times over. He could have done anything he wanted in the world, lived anywhere he wanted in the world, partied, done anything, bought art, done anything. He didn't need to do any of this. None of it. And remember, if he had kept his mouth shut and played along like everybody else, he'd be one of the richest guys in the world, and he certainly wouldn't be on the 4th of June in the year of our Lord 2023 sitting in a federal prison. That's courage. Everybody comes to me, Miles Guo this, Miles Guo that, Miles Guo this, Miles Guo that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. What I've seen is he's changed the direction of the world because he's identified them as a transnational criminal organization. A transnational criminal organization created by and empowered by the United States State Department and people like General George Marshall that are held up on pedestals in this country. And then, 50 years later, with the blood not even dry on the stones in Tiananmen Square, supported again. You know why we have a war in the Eurasian landmass? We're going to have one very quickly in the Straits of Taiwan, South China Sea, and we have one now in Ukraine with the two partners that come together, China and Russia. By the way, to always remember, the two greatest allies we had in World War II were not the British and the Canadians and the French, and we have a special relationship with the British. And we have a very special relationship with our brothers and sisters in Canada. Our allies in World War II were the Russian people and the Chinese people. The Chinese people lost 40 million people, draining the blood of the Japanese Imperial Army so that our island hopping would be easier. The Russian people destroyed the Wehrmacht so that on Tuesday, when we commemorate D-Day, they didn't have to face 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 German army divisions because they got bled out. After blowing it after the war and letting their slave masters continue to enslave them and looking the other way, after World War II, we had another shot in 1989. What would modern history, what would history today be like if the American government had backed the art students that put up the goddess of democracy? The CCP would have fallen in 30 days. And the CCP knew that. That's in June. What happens in November? The Berlin Wall comes down. And did the U.S. government do any job of getting rid of the KGB and the control mechanisms really inside of Russia? They did not. And they allowed the Russian people once again to be enslaved by the security apparatus that was the hammer for the Soviets. Think about that for a second.